Hello everyone, in this tutorial, I will show you how to use Steam networking in a more advanced way in Godot 4. Now, what do I mean by advanced? Well, if you saw my previous tutorial, you'll know that we used some built-in nodes that did most of the heavy lifting for us. However, this is going to be more of a deeper dive into how the networking itself actually works, allowing you to have a deeper knowledge of how the networking actually works and allowing you to add more features to your game. Peer-to-peer networking systems work in a very interesting way. Instead of having a centralized server, peer-to-peer just simply has all the peers be their own entities. Meaning, if we want every other player to know where number 2 is, 2 needs to inform all the other peers what position it's in. And this is the same for every other peer. Every peer needs to let every other peer know where it is, and it needs to receive that data from those peers. Some of the pros for this is, let's say number 1 is the host of the game and they leave. Well, now since all the other peers weren't tied to the host, they can actually all keep playing on the same lobby. However, some of the cons to worry about is how our actual world events handle. Let's say what time of day it is in the server, or let's say someone moves an object. How are you going to handle that based on it being a peer-to-peer system and there's no centralized server to really dictate that? Now, before starting, I highly recommend checking out the GodotSteam documentation. There, you can choose between the custom version of Godot or just the GodotSteam plugin. Both will work fine for this tutorial. To get started, I'm going to create 2 scripts. One will be our global variables and another being our network script. Over in our global script, all we're going to do here is just add 2 variables, one being our Steam ID, which will be an integer. We'll set that to be 0 for now. Next will be our Steam username. Steam username. This will be an empty string. So set that. Next we need to create an init function. So function init. We're going to go ahead and set our environment. So os.set environment. And this will be your Steam app ID. If you don't have one, you can use 480. So Steam app ID. I'm going to set this to be str480. And we're going to do the same thing for our game ID. Next, in our ready function, so function ready, we'll initialize Steam. So Steam.Steam init. We'll set our Steam ID to be Steam.get Steam ID. And we'll set our Steam username to be Steam.get persona name. And then finally, in our process function, so function process, we'll do steam.run callbacks. Over in our network script now, we need to add a few variables, one being our packet read limit. This will be a constant packet read limit. This will be how many packets we can read at a time. We'll set this to be 32. We need to know if we are the host, so variable is host. Set this to be false. Next, we will set our variable lobby ID. This will be the ID to our lobby, obviously. Set this to be an int and 0. Next, we need to have our lobby members, so lobby members. This will be an array and an empty array. Next, we need to set the maximum amount of lobby members we want in the actual lobby. Note that this will impact performance if you set this number to be too high, because there's going to be a lot of peers trying to talk to each other. So let's just set it to be a maximum of 10 for now. However, I recommend around 8 to 16. Next, we need to create a function to create a lobby. So create lobby. We'll first check if our lobby ID is equal to 0. So we don't want to create one if we already have one. We'll then call steam.create lobby, and we want it to be public. This could be up to you how you want it to be visible. So this means anyone can try to join it. And then lobby members max for the second argument will be, how many members can join. Next, we'll have a function for when the lobby is actually created. So function underscore on lobby created. We need to pass in 2 variables. So one will be a connect variable. So if we connected or not, then this lobby ID will also be an integer. We'll check if our connection status is 1. If it is, we'll set our lobby ID to be this lobby ID. Then we can go ahead and print out that lobby ID if you would like. Steam.setLobby joinable to be our lobby ID and true. Next, we need to set some lobby data. So Steam dot set lobby data. We'll set it with our lobby ID. We'll set the name. This can be whatever you'd like. So I'll just do GWiz's lobby. And then finally, we'll set our relay. So variable set relay to be a bool. This will be steam.allow peer-to-peer packet relay to true. Next, it's going to connect this to a signal. So in our ready function, we'll set steam.lobby created. We'll connect this to on lobby created. So now this function will be called whenever the lobby has been created. And one more thing we should do is set the host. So is host to be true. Since we have created a lobby, we are the host. Next, we need to be able to join the lobby. So function join lobby. We need to pass in the lobby ID. So this lobby ID. This will be an int, obviously. Next, we will do steam.join lobby this lobby ID, and it's as simple as that. Next, we need a function for when we have joined the lobby. So function on lobby joined. We need to pass in a few variables here. So one being this lobby ID. This will be an int. Next will be permissions. This will be an int. Next one will be if it is locked. So int. Sorry, this will be a bool. And finally, our response will be an int. In here, we'll check if our response is steam.chat room enter response want success. Then we'll set our lobby ID to be this lobby ID. Now once you've joined, we need to do a few more things. One being getting all the lobby members. So function get lobby members. We'll first clear out our lobby members array to make sure that we don't have anything left over. So lobby members.clear. Next, we'll get the number of lobby members. So num of lobby members. This will be an int. We'll set this to be steam.get num lobby members, passing in our lobby ID. Next, we're going to loop through all these. So for member in range of 0 to our number of lobby members. We'll set our variable member steam ID to be our steam.get lobby member by index with our lobby ID and our member. And we'll also need to get their username. So variable member steam name. So this will be a string. This will be steam dot get friend persona name, passing in the member steam ID. Finally, we're going to append all this data to our lobby members array. So lobby members dot append. We'll append a dictionary with our steam ID being member steam ID, the steam name being the member steam name. Next, we want the other peer to announce to the other peers that they have joined, and also the other peers to acknowledge that the other peer has joined. Essentially, a handshake. But first, we need to have a way to send packets and read packets. So, create a new function called send peer-to-peer packet. We'll set a target variable to be an int. We're going to have the packet data. This will be a dictionary. Next, we'll have the send type, which will be either reliable or unreliable. We're going to default it to be reliable. However, you can change it when you are calling the function. Next, we'll set the channel to be 0. This you don't really need to change. Next, we need to compress the dictionary down to a packed byte array. So variable this data. This will be a packed byte array. Then this data dot append array variable to bytes packet data. Since we can't actually send the dictionary over a packet, we have to convert it to a packed byte array. Next, we want to determine if we want to send this packet to everyone or just one person. So we'll check if this target is equal to 0, which will be our code for everyone. Then, if it is everyone, we'll check if lobby members dot size is greater than 1, so we have more than one person to send it to. If that's the case, then for member in lobby members, then if member Steam ID is not equal to our Steam ID, because we don't want to send it back to ourselves, then if that's the case, we'll do Steam dot send peer-to-peer packet with our member Steam ID, our data, so this data, our send type, and finally the channel. Also, make sure that this is the global.steam ID. And you can probably guess how we're going to send it to one person via this line of code. So we'll go ahead and copy it, and we'll just do else here. And instead of doing the member Steam ID, we'll just do this target. Now to read the packets, we'll do function read peer-to-peer packet. We'll do variable packet size will be an integer, set to be steam.get available peer-to-peer packet size and get the first index. Next, we'll check if we actually have packets. So if packet size is greater than 0, then we'll do variable this packet will be set to a dictionary. This will be steam.read peer-to-peer packet with our packet size and 0 being our channel. Next, we'll get the packet sender. So variable packet sender. This will be an integer. So we set to this packet with remote Steam ID. Next, we'll get the packet code. So variable packet code. This will be our packed byte array that we said before. So this packet data. Next, we'll convert this to be readable data. So basically, we're going to be converting it back to a dictionary. So variable readable data will be our dictionary. This will be bytes to var packet code. And now we want to always be actively reading packets. So we'll create a function for read all peer-to-peer packets. We'll take in our read count. This will be an integer set to 0. If read count is greater than or equal to our packet read limit, then we will return. However, if it's not, we'll do if steam.get available peer-to-peer packet size with the first index. If this is greater than 0, then we'll read a peer-to-peer packet, and we will then recursively call read peer-to-peer packets with our read count plus 1. Then we need to request the handshake. So function on peer-to-peer session request. We'll set our remote ID to be an int. We'll create a new variable called this requester. This will be a string. Set this to be steam.getFriend persona name. This will be the remote ID. Next, we'll accept the request. So steam.accept peer-to-peer session with user. Sets it with the remote ID. We need to connect both our lobby joined and also our Steam session request up here. So steam.lobby joined. We'll connect this to on lobby joined, and also steam dot peer-to-peer session request. We'll connect this to our on peer-to-peer session request. Now let's create the handshake. So function make peer-to-peer handshake. We will send out a peer-to-peer packet with a target of 0, so we'll send it out to everyone. Next, we'll create a message being handshake. Then we want to have a way to identify who's making the handshake, so Steam ID with our Steam ID and also our username being our Steam username. And these both are also the global Steam ID and the global Steam username. Next, we need to check if we received a handshake. So in our read packet, we'll check if readable data dot has a message value. If it does, we'll do a switch statement for readable data and the message. And if that message is handshake, we'll go ahead and print out player readable data username has joined. And we'll also go ahead and update our lobby members. So get lobby members. And right here is where we're going to be handling all of our packets. So let's say a peer sends over their position data. This will allow us to update that puppet on this side. Now, a few loose ends we need to tie up is in our onLobbyJoin function. We need to get the lobby members. We also need to make a peer-to-peer handshake here. We also need to be calling our read all packets function. So function process if our lobby ID is greater than 0. So if we have a lobby, we'll then read all our packets. All right, now it's going to create an interface to create and join lobbies. So let's create a new scene. We'll call it main. I'll just add in a simple camera 2D node, add in a button. This button will be our host button. Make this be a bit bigger. We also want a join button. So join. For the sake of this tutorial, how you're going to be able to join lobbies is just by entering in the lobby ID. So I'll do a line edit. This will be our lobby ID. And I'm going to add in a script to our main. We'll connect our lobby host button pressed and our lobby join button pressed. Then we'll call network dot create lobby and also network dot join lobby. We'll have to pass in our lobby ID. So we need to convert this text to be an integer. So variable ID, this will be an int. So this will be lobby ID dot text. And then we need to convert this to be an int. So int text. And they'll pass in that ID to join lobby. And in the lobby created function in the network code, I've just added in a simple printout to let us know that the lobby has been created. So if I go and press host now, you'll see that we have created the lobby and it will give us our lobby ID, which we can then enter in to join that lobby. Now, this tutorial has already been my longest one ever. Everything you need to network a game is here. It allows you to send and receive packets, which is actually all you need. Now, you can hate me, but as I've said before, this is an advanced tutorial. This is everything you need to network your game. So I'm going to leave it to you to handle spawning in your players and also transferring all the data such as the position, rotation, all that. If you do need any help with that, I will be leaving a link to a demo project in the description down below, along with all the other documentation and resources. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching my longest tutorial ever. Yes, longest ever GWiz tutorial. And thanks to our sponsor for making it all possible, Brilliant.org. If you're looking for an amazing and easy way to learn about math, computer science, data science, and normal science, then you need to check out Brilliant.org. Brilliant is fun and interactive, and they have thousands of lessons with more being added every month. And what's great about Brilliant is they will customize the content to fit your needs. With Brilliant's guided lessons, you'll be able to explore concepts at your own pace, and if you get stuck, you can use the step-by-step solutions to get back on track. If you're an avid GWizard, then it's a no-brainer to sign up for Brilliant.org. They teach computer science at every skill level. I'm currently brushing up my data structures and algorithms with them. For a limited time, Brilliant.org is offering a 30-day free trial. And if you sign up now with the code GWiz, you'll get 20% off. That's a lifetime subscription for 20% off. Isn't that nuts? So what are you waiting for? Head over to Brilliant.org/GWiz to get 20% off your lifetime subscription. Thank you, Brilliant.org, for sponsoring this video, and keep GWizzing.